Hello! I'm going to nerd out and walk you through a few ways I transcribed Sherma's song from Silksong from a classical approach. I've only played up to meeting Sherma for the first time and hyperfixated on this, so this is spoiler-free for anything later in the game. Timestamps and links to everything are in the description. Let's break down the scene. Sherma singing with slow chime starts in this area and gets louder as you approach. Interacting makes singing stop. Sherma speaks. Slow chimes continue until Hornet speaks. More Sherma. Sherma speaks. Sherma speaks. Fast chimes alone. Ending interaction, singing restarts. If you speak to Sherma again, notice that the singing is interrupted, but the chimes don't stop. This could mean the chimes are a separate file, or maybe a randomized starting point, since the singing can rejoin at will. I quit and started the scene again to see if anything changed. Sure enough, the dialogue vocalizations were different. This means transcribing could go in a few directions. Let's go back and gather some basic information. I did everything for this by ear first, handwritten, and I'm a double check your work kind of person, so I used Sonic Visualiser and Logic to compare. Sonic Visualiser, for those unfamiliar, is free and open source software for visualizing and analyzing audio recordings. I used it once in a musicology class years ago and remembered it existed. There's a lot of starting, stopping, shifting, trial and error, as most of these things are. Here's the tempo, singing in fast chimes, basic rhythm of the melody, and chimes are constant, so we'll deal with that later. For the vocal pitches, by ear, there are a lot of scoops and plops. If you want to use microtones, you can, or leave it up to the performer. I checked to confirm visually by flex pitch and the spectrogram. Automated note analyses were futile because of overtones and background sounds. Logic gave me this, for example. I tried my best to learn and add IPA. I checked it with my friend Kieran, who's a tenor and historical musicologist, to see if it made sense. Neither of us are experts in this, so if someone is actually in linguistics, please feel free to comment any corrections. For the chimes by ear, this was a lot more challenging because it's very high up, but it yielded 5 distinct pitches. G, G sharp, A sharp, and B, confirmed by the spectrogram. On to version 1. This is a straight-up excerpt. I scrolled through the data I tapped into Sonic Visualiser earlier to find overlaps for strict repetition. No luck in this recording, but there was one section of 8 measures I'd call close enough for the purposes of this version. So we're looking at 57 against 64. Ridiculous. I spoke to percussionist Dominique, who suggested individual wind chimes with mallets as the instrument of choice. Depending on how important the pitch and interval relationship is and sourcing instruments, you could write 5 chimes a semitone apart or forego exact pitches using whatever instruments are available. Different beaming, noteheads, spacing for the chimes, all of these versions are valid, but for my reading preference, I ended up with this as my version 1. We have the vocal line and chimes transcribed as an excerpt. Version 2. Box notation and aleatoric elements starting at this point. Earlier I mentioned scene audio variations. I kept hearing new ones, so 20 restarts later, I had heard these 5 versions. It's not quite singing, it's not quite spoken, there's a rhythm to it and some distinct pitches, so I opted for Sprechgesang notation, think Second Viennese School, Schoenberg and Berg. I recorded 10 minutes of chimes alone to see if the audio looped. It did not. I don't know enough about sound design to tell how it's programmed. Regardless, we're going to lean into the aleatoric nature of this version and use box notation. Special thanks to Julian, guitarist, composer, and audio wizard for help with box notation in Finale. Here are some layouts I considered, trying to keep in mind ease of reading and flow. And this is my final version 2. We start off with choosing one of 5 exclamations, lined up with where the chimes should start underneath. Then the singing can join at will. Then everything fades as Hornet walks away. Version 3, piano. When transcribing from voice to piano, if it's quarter tones or there's scooping, I'll choose what sounds better in context or is suitable for the student to play depending on their level. In this case for voice, this could mean choosing D flat major or D major in an ascending chromatic line for measure 4. For the chimes, I have pitches transcribed from the audio recorded, but you could opt to choose your own adventure. And here are all the results.
Doni point volinette, pina sans mi manicette, d'un enfant sur le banc. Faridula si manette, doni point volinette, pina sans mi manicette, d'un enfant sur le banc. Memoko. Faridula si manette, doni point volinette, pina sans mi manicette. D'un enfant sur le...
These were only a few examples of versions you can notate. If there's any takeaway from this video, I hope it demonstrates some of the challenges and variations of notation and interpretation. Now that I'm done with this transcription, I'm gonna go figure out how to play this game. I hope y'all have a lovely day. If you'd like to support this channel, I have 3 albums currently available to buy or stream. If you're looking for music resources such as this music theory zine or more ways to contribute, there are links in the description. As always, thanks for watching and happy music making.